Hello everybody and welcome to another Conquest video. I'm Sanjita and today I'll be sharing with you some of my favorite lineups for Conquest, the way I split up my raise and my resistance in first order and get all those feats done. Some other lineups that I haven't seen anywhere but have really been nice for me, and these lineups combined with the advice I gave in my last Conquest video have allowed me to get this far in Conquest in the few days that it's been going on so far. The first 5 or 6 squads I'm going over are just how I split up my resistance in first order, since in this Conquest you need to be using them a lot. And obviously from this picture you can tell I do have Rey and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, so it is a bit easier for me. You only need 2 kills if you're getting the global feats done for 40 resistance skills and 40 first order kills done. You can get it in 10 days with 2 battles from 2 different teams, so it's pretty easy. But if you just have one good team, you might need to up that to 4 every day. So this is how I use resistance in Zone 1 or Sector 1 because I have no tanks in this team, so it's an easy way to split it up. In this first order team, I wouldn't recommend for first playthroughs if you're trying to 3-star everything, because it is very weak, especially if you're using my recommended data set. This is something I actually use at the end for datacron farming. In the first run through, I'd combine your first order forces just for our best team using Hux, Sith Trooper, the original Kylo Ren, just to get those nodes done 3 stars first try. This is also my second resistance team. Rey with the droids and Holdo. This has no attackers, so it's great for Sector 2, although BB-8 is a hot commodity in Conquest because you also want it for the shorty team, so that's something to balance as well. This first order team is very solid. You can basically give the leftovers to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren during your datacron farming and get things done a lot. This team is very solid. I recommend using that primarily in the Sector 1 bonus node where you can get data cache and datacrons themselves. But all the counterattacks work very well, and with the recommended data set I had, it just melts through the bounty hunters after they do an AoE and you have a mass counterattack. It's really something to see. And next here, this is obvious for the Rey and Kylo feat where you need 5 combined Reys and Kylos. There's only 2 ways to do it. There's this way, and there's subbing out Rey for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And that's just something you're going to need to do. I'd recommend starting that when you have about 30 kills with Resistance and 30 kills with First Order. And then for those remaining kills with Resistance and First Order, just use teams without Rey or Kylo. I think that's a little easier for First Order. They got some better options. For Resistance, maybe just use a Finn lead and use Resistance hero Finn and Poe, and then some others to back it up. This team is one of my favorites, and I brainstormed this team because I had to get kills with, or I had to win battles with Vet Han surviving and Crew surviving, but the problem was on a lot of the harder nodes, Crew's pre-taunting, and if he's really low stamina, which he probably will be since he's needed for everything, he was pre-taunting and he was dying first, he wasn't getting through. So this is a team where you're going to get out first because of Watt. He's going to hand the weapon tech over to Canderous, and then Maul and Canderous basically just 2-man the team by themselves, and with the data discs I recommended, they really just melt through the whole team. These next 2 teams are just what I consider staples in the post-game for Conquest. When you're farming datacron nodes, the important commodity is not 3-starring the node, although these usually do 3-star a node. It is getting the battle done fast, and CLS and General Grievous are great at finishing off the Tuskens and the Night Sisters, which you'll want to farm a lot in Sector 4 and Sector 3, and they can get the battles done super fast, usually in 15 to 30 seconds. And you want to use BB-8 with General Grievous in the post game farming the datacrons, but in your first run through, don't use BB-8 because he'll die super fast under Grievous lead. Either use Droideka, Newt, or even Watt to help keep them alive and running longer. General Grievous is most useful in Sector 1 in your first playthrough, and then CLS has some use later when you need blind, but otherwise he's just a very safe team to take in if you want to make sure that you 3-star a node.
Hello there.
Like and subscribe.
These next 3 teams have some general utility for feats and just getting battles done with 3 stars. Mon Mothma is a great team because with all the data discs, it's pretty insane how fast they can go through a team. Just with the mass assist, Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony combine really well to knock the team out super fast. And Ruthless Swiftness makes their turn meter train even more drastic than it was already. And you can end up 3-starring a lot of teams just because you're getting a taunt on Cara Dune at the beginning, and she tends to come back. And even if she doesn't come back herself, Mon Mothma can bring her back. The second team, it's it's obvious to use a R9 JML in Conquest, and if you don't have him, that's unfortunate. I definitely recommend getting him as one of your first GLs. But this team can cover a lot of different feats, and it's also a pretty safe team for a 3-star clear. I forget which sector it is, maybe it's 3 or 2, you need a lot of ability blocks, and this team is great for that. You got AoE ability block from JML and Old Ben, and then also you can call Bastila to attack on her basic for an ability block, and also you're going to get a lot of foresight with both of the Yodas there. And the last one on this screen is just the Sortie droid team for that Sector 4 feat with 14 kills with them. My Sortie is only gear 11 right now. If you have one in Relics, I mean, this is pretty easy because she's very durable. But otherwise, this team tends to kind of go down a little fast. So I'd recommend using it on Geos. It can melt Geos. Or if you're Datacron farming, use it on the Tusken node 1 or 2 times a day at 100% stamina. It can pull out the win there, just with all the extra turn meter it gets in the beginning, and then those once Shorty takes a turn, if you're using the right data to set up, you're gonna win after that one turn. These next 2 teams are some teams that use no attackers, so they're useful across a lot of conquests because there's always a feat where you want no attackers. And this Clones team is probably my favorite. Not everyone is familiar with Rex Lead since he's always under General Skywalker, but he gives extra health, that's okay. But the big thing is whenever an ally suffers a critical hit, all clone troopers gain 15% turn meter. So in Conquest, that is actually massive. Your 5's just going to be marked from Voluntary Vanguard. He's going to get hit a few times, he'll hit back. And then Rex is going to go, use Form Up, get Echo to go, and Echo's going to just dispel all their debuffs, put Daze and all that on him, Tech follows it up. Then what usually happens is Echo's grenade just kills the whole rest of the team. So amazing Conquest team. Next here we got a bunch of Sith that aren't attackers, and this chews through teams very fast. And it's also great for feats with where you want no attackers, and also get health steal at the same time just by using Palpatine's second unique third ability. Normally I never use that ability, but in Conquest it gives 5 health steal up, so you can get that feat done just in 4 tries. Also Palpatine in the lead here is just as good, maybe even better. It just depends on who you're going against. But if you're going on an attack at a turn team, definitely use Trey lead. Alright, showing my last few teams here. This top one, don't worry about Lord Vader, he's just basically acting as a tank. If you don't have him, just throw in any durable character here. But this is just for Inquisitorious kills in Sector 3. Palpatine gets the Terminator train going, and I pick these Inquisitors because they have AoEs, and when they throw them, they're inflicting debuffs, at least through Amplify Agony, or Volatile Accelerator, and then they're getting bonus turns, essentially, from all the extra turn meter they get from inflicting the debuff. Lord Vader is an ideal tank here because he doesn't gain bonus turn meter, so what usually happens is sometimes he'll get the ball rolling with his AoE, and then the Inquisitors will go. But a lot of times when I'm a little bit lower on stamina, I'm using this against the Night Sister node in Sector 3, and he might not even get a turn, and then the others just do their AoEs and get Inquisitorious kills. The second team here, I don't recommend going for Purge feat in this Conquest. Last Conquest it was worth 10 key cards, but this is only worth 5, so I really think it's worth skipping. But you have an Inquisitor lead, like 5th Brother, and then you put the tank tech on JML. If you have Voluntary Vanguard, you don't even need Watt, you just need a strong character there to tank. So you could put another Inquisitor here. But that's if you don't have a strong Inquisitor team, and you don't want to use the Frenzy tech, or you didn't come across it or something like that. And my last team recommendation is just Padme. You could really put any Galactic Republic with her. Obviously, using JMK alongside her, or using her under JMK is an easy path to victory. But as long as you have a Zealous Ambition on, she's pretty much the hardest hitting character in the game while in Conquest. I've seen like 400,000 damage basics just because she has such high damage modifiers already, and since she's a support, she gains part of that massive health pool as her offense. But that's it. These are the teams I use most frequently. I didn't put obvious teams like JMK or other just pure Galactic Legend teams like a Lord Vader team because not everyone has them and they're just fairly obvious to people. But let me know what you think. What teams have worked the best for you during Conquest? I'd love to hear from you.